And the recording is happening, yes.
Yes, good. Okay, we're gonna call the Sullivan County Funding Board meeting to order and Julio, roll call please. Here.
Brother.
Kathleen's not yet appointed to the funding board or the LDC, so why didn't that happen altogether?
Well, Josh has only had since this morning,
But why didn't they just do all three of them?
because the legislature appoints the NDA and the county manager.
Got it. Okay. There we go.
And who knows if he's going to appoint that.
Okay. Okay, we have minutes to approve on March 13th. If everybody had a chance to look, can I have a motion to approve? Thank you, Scott. Carol, second. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Okay, minutes approved. New business. So again, we're here to talk about the financial statements. Andrew, you're going to present, I believe, again, and then we'll make the motion regarding Paris as well.
Okay, I don't have a handout for the last two. They're pretty straightforward. I just want to point out, really the only difference in the funding Corp had to do with the sale of the land. If you're looking at the profit and loss report, you'll see where you have the gain on the sale of the property and then the money that was transferred back to the county. Otherwise, most of the other stuff on here, standard interest on notes receivable, operating expenses, really similar to the past years. We do all the same sort of testing as a government order. We have to test all of the things, controls, over your disbursements. I think there was one comment last year about the account numbers. I'm not too really concerned about the account numbers in the accounting records. Basically, what they do is they have account numbers for all the main accounts, and then on the notes where they have sub accounts, they don't have account numbers in them. So in other words, they'll have account number of 1400 is notes receivable, and then all the sub accounts, they just have the names of the note. I'm not too concerned with that. Most of the other accounts all have account numbers. The expense codes have account numbers. It's really, up to each individual person doing the books on a day-to-day basis, how they feel comfortable doing that. Certainly, they could have 1400 for accounts receivable and then have 1400.1, 1400.2 for each of the one.
To tie it back.
Yeah, if they want to do that. I will say sometimes when you do that, you start typing in 1400 and you enter it to the wrong one now.
Right.
Because you got to make sure you scroll down. By typing in a name, the name comes up. Just a thought, but it's really up to them internally. But as an order, I don't have a problem with them doing that. The sub accounts all total to the notes receivable, and I'm okay with that. Okay. But again, overall, no issues. You get a clean opinion on the funding Corp as well. Modified opinion.
Thank you. Okay, so can I have, Jen, how do you want to say something?
I just want to make a quick note on the Paris. If you looked closely through the annual report in Paris, there were some notes I had made on some of the bond information. I've had to go back and reopen last year's Paris report to correct and update some information, which is now done. So the things that are highlighted on
This
near
is
the
the
end
Center
of the
for
annual
Discovery
report.
Fund.
Some information was not available last year that we have since gotten. But I have to update that before I can enter the new information in this year's Paris. So it's done now. Last year's information is entered, so I'll be able to enter this year's information.
And it'll
it's
get
the
filed
same
tomorrow,
figures
too.
that are in the draft, yes.
Did you have to get permission from ABO to reopen it?
Yes.
And they have any issue?
No, I had to send them a lot,
Yeah.
no, and a lot of paperwork
Yeah,
to show, but that's fine. So it's done. I just want to let you know that the things that show up in red notes here are the finals.
because if you didn't correct last year, it wouldn't tie for this year. So you had to show it.
The beginning balance wouldn't
Right,
be the same
right.
as last year then.
Understood. Okay.
So we need that same motion.
We need
that
the
we
same
review
motion.
and accept.
Review and accept. Okay.
Review and accept it.
And someone to Carol and Scott. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Okay. Funding Corp done. Any public comment? Kathleen, since you're the member of the public here, do you have any comment?
I do have one quick thing on funding court. There will be a resolution at the next meeting. We're still working. I know we started that last October. We're still working with the Center for Discovery to remediate their bonds because they're tied to LIBOR, which is going to evaporate this summer. So we're working, it looks like the closing of that, which has to happen on the first day of a month, because there's swap positions against the bonds. Will be May 1st, looks like the closing date, so I'll have the resolution to you in advance, and if you have any questions, email me or call me. It's gonna look pretty complicated, but it's actually unavoidable. You can't be an index or a margin above LIBOR when LIBOR doesn't exist anymore.
Okay. All right, so we're moving to adjourn the funding part?
I'll
Did we do that?
Just before that, just for the
Okay.
minutes and the recording, I'll put in the minutes that the board had any discussion it wanted to have about self-evaluation.
sorry, I
Right, it's the
forgot
same,
that.
the number, the tally is the same for all three.
Does
agencies.
anybody have any desire to talk about the evaluation for the funding part? We're good, we're good, okay. Now I need Howard's motion to adjourn and second motion, and all in favor, say aye. Funding Corp adjourn. One more to go.